So today we're going to make a spicy pumpkin soup. We made it last week to go into the ingredient kits with the cook along, and lots of people asked for the recipe, so it's really easy. So in here I've chopped up 1 onion, a couple of sticks of celery, 2 carrots, and the spices that I use are a little bit of dried cumin, 1 teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of coriander. I've got in there about ½ a teaspoon of chilli. I quite like things spicy. If not, you could either leave the chilli out or just put a little bit less. I use a couple of cloves of garlic, which again, these are optional. I like using garlic particularly at this time of year because it's really good for fighting off any colds and viruses. And a little bit of oil. I've got a stock cube in there that I'm going to dissolve in some boiling water. So it's a vegetable stock cube, and I probably will put about 800 mils of water in there. This is roast pumpkin. If you've got the oven on, roast your pumpkin because it really does bring out the flavours and it gives it a really nice sweetness. It doesn't matter if not. I wouldn't put the oven on especially just to roast your pumpkin unless you're batch cooking and you're doing quite a lot. You can use pumpkin raw and just add it in with your other ingredients. The other spices that you can use, if you don't have any cumin and coriander, that's fine. Ginger's quite nice in it, it's lovely. You can also use a curry powder, any curry powder, or garam masala. That's quite nice. It just gives it a kind of warming flavour. If you don't have any pumpkin or you don't like pumpkin, there are lots of really nice vegetables around at the moment. Parsnips are really good in this soup, and or use lentils. Lentils are great, or you can add lentils as well, which pads it out. I use lentils quite a lot. So the equipment that we need, you just need a pan about that size. I don't have a lid for that pan, so I'm just going to use this frying pan to use on top. Something to stir with, a sharp knife, a chopping board, a peeler, and a garlic crusher. If you're going to roast your pumpkin, you just need an oven-proof tray to go in. So, all I'm going to do is pop my pan on the stove. I've already put that on with a little bit of oil in there. And then just add onions, celery, and carrots. Give it a bit of stir. Now that's on quite high, so I'm going to turn that down to about 4, and I'm going to pop a lid on, and I'm just going to let those soften. So it usually takes about 5 minutes to let those soften, and I will chop up my pumpkin. And then, if you're not adding roast pumpkin, you can add this, and this can cook along with your other ingredients. So I'm just going to pop that in now. Starting to smell nice already, really nice. So, there we go. So this has been cooking for about 5 minutes, and you can just see it's starting to soften nicely. And I'm just going to add the spices and let them cook for a few minutes. So I'm going to put the spices in. And some garlic. This is a really good garlic crusher. And that's it. give it a bit of a stir. And make sure it's not on too high at this stage because you don't want your spices to burn. So I'm just going to put that down again to about 3 now. And I'm just going to let that cook just literally for about 2 minutes just to bring out the flavour of the spices. So that the spices have been cooking for a couple of minutes, that smells absolutely delicious. So at this stage I'm just going to add the roasted pumpkin and the stock with the water with the stock in there. And give that a little bit of a stir. And I'm going to let that simmer now for about 20 minutes. Or until all the vegetables are soft. Now, it's good if you've got a hand blender. This is an industrial one, so you might not have one like this. So you can blend the soup, or if the vegetables are nice and soft, you can actually use a masher to mash it. It doesn't actually need blended at all. Sometimes I like my soups quite chunky, and so you can just leave it. But that's really basically it. It's as simple as that. You can have a soup within about half an hour. You can use leftovers from the fridge, and yeah. Enjoy!